Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell 'em. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And today we are here with my guy, Mr. Mills Rodgers, a great man, doing some really neat things to make our world a better place. Have done, is doing some neat things to make our world a better place. And I'm so thankful to have him on this episode of the Success Chronicles. So first off, thanks so much for taking the time to interview.
Oh, you're welcome. And I just want to say hello to everyone out there listening to the Success Chronicles. I feel honored and privileged to be a part of such a storied podcast.
Well, there it is, man. Well, let's dive. Speaking of story, let's dive into your story, if you don't mind sharing with the audience, a little bit about who you are, what it is you do, and kind of track your story till now.
Okay, well, my name is Mills Rodgers. I like to go by Mr. Raj, Mr. Rodgers neighborhood. I shorten my name to, and then put an apostrophe S after it so that there's no conflict with the original Mr. Rodgers. I'm a speaker and author on student success, social emotional learning. I'm an activist for special education. And I also speak on motivation. I've written a book titled Success is a Process, Not an Event. It's more so just observations that I've picked up on over the years as far as what it takes to be successful. And it's something that I have to practice. I have to practice what I preach. I have to pay attention to what I wrote sometimes. I got to remind myself from time to time. So how did I get to this point? Well, I served 5 years in the military a while back. And then once I transitioned out of the military, I went into education. I became a teacher. And that was kind of the family profession because my mom was a teacher. And one of the stories I like to tell kids is that I never thought I would be a teacher. My mom always tried to nudge me in that direction. And I was like, oh, no, I can't. I don't want to fool with them kids like that. And but, as I grew up and matured and did some different things, I kind of figured out that, education might not be so bad. And so I got into education, taught for 15 years at the middle school and high school level, interacting with approximately 100 to 120 kids a year. And so you learn a lot of different things about people. You understand people, families, people from different backgrounds and everything. And so I took all of those experiences, and I kind of got moved in the direction of speaking. And so I bring all those things to the table. And, I speak to audiences across the country about success being a process and sharing my own experiences, sharing the experiences of others, and making a difference in people's lives.
That's awesome. And like I said, in the intro, has done and is doing some great things. Really neat to check out your journey. And, and it's awesome when we can take the things that we've been blessed to experience in our life and use those to help others.
Definitely. And, I'll share. I'll be like anyone else. I'll be like, man, why did that happen?
Yeah.
And at the time, it didn't make sense. There's a lot of things I've been through. My oldest daughter has severe autism. And so that's one of those things that was always questionable in my mind. Like, man, I just wanted to be a good father and, have the normal parenting experience. And, of course, you love your children, but it's like, man, that's such a challenge having a child with autism. And, now it all kind of starts to make sense. Like, man, now I can use that as part of my message and hopefully encourage someone. And I've been blessed to have a normally developing child. So, that's another thing. I can play both sides of the fence because I know what it's like to have a child with a disability, and then I have one that is normally developing. And so I can share those insights with people, and I can connect on both levels.
Yeah. Well, you talked about your book being, success. Success is a process. What is your definition of success?
Well, success is turning your dreams, your goals, all those things into reality. The process of success really is subjective, um, depending on that individual. It can
Yeah.
vary from individual to individual. Some people may have a goal of, hey, I want to achieve a certain level of education. Some people may have a goal of making a certain amount of money or attaining a certain level of health. And to me, success, it all just boils down toward, I wouldn't say necessarily achieving those things, but progressing to those things,
Yeah.
turning those things into a reality, making it more than just a thought, making whatever you want to do more than just a thought, doing something about it. To me, that is success.
Taking actions.
Exactly. Taking
Yeah.
action. I love to
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
My action speaks louder than words.
That's it. Well,
Mhm.
what are some things you think it takes to achieve that type of success? You saying it's a process, which brings progress. But
Uh-huh.
what are some of the things you think it takes to achieve that type of success?
Well, I have this one concept that I like to share with audiences. It's called 3D success.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the D's is discipline. Pretty obvious. I think most people would agree that it takes discipline to achieve success. Um, when I say discipline, I also like to tie it into consistency, because anyone could do something once. You're a coach. Um, you follow football. The New England Patriots, for example, they're
Yeah.
considered one of the greatest franchises of all times because they win consistently.
Yeah.
Now, they've lost, 4 times this year? Okay. So that doesn't mean that a winner never loses or never has disappointment, because that means there's 4 times they stepped on that field wanting to win, going out there with the intention of winning, but they lost.
Mm.
However, the body of work shows that they're consistent winners, because I believe they've won 10 or 11 times this year so far. Okay. And over the years, they've been consistent winners. And so to be successful, you have to do things consistently. One of the things I like to share with, I'll go in the audience and I'll ask a kid, like, hey, let me ask you this question, because pretty much everybody knows this. If I worked out intensely 1 time a month for like 5 hours, or if I worked out moderately 4 times a week for an entire month, which one is going to bring me the results, bring me better results? And any kid, no matter how old they are, can say, well, hey, if you do it, if you worked out moderately 4 times a week for an entire month, you're going to be in better shape. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I mean by consistency. Next D is decisions or discernment, because you got to make the right choices. You got to do the right things. Just because you have good
Mhm.
intentions doesn't mean that things are just going to magically work out. Okay, you got to make the right choices, and that includes maybe having mentors or people that can possibly guide you. Lastly, the last D is, I'm forgetting my own. I'm getting so deep into my thoughts, man. I'm forgetting
Yeah.
my own. So we got decisions, we got
Discipline.
discipline,
Yeah.
and desire. Okay, that's my
Yeah.
last one. Desire. Sometimes, like I said, I get so wrapped up in it, I forget sometimes. Desire, okay, or even desperation. You got to want it, okay? You got to have that drive in you to go out and get it, when those obstacles start to come up, because there will be obstacles. There's going to be things that's not going to make it so convenient. And so what is that? What is going to stoke your flame? What's going to get you to go? What's going to keep you going? So for me, those are the 3 things that drive success. That's what you can count on. If you can master those 3 Ds, that's what's going to help
Mhm.
bring you success.
That's awesome, man. I love that. And I think it's always great to give um, simple, practical steps. I think everybody needs to have those kind of things because I think that helps you with your consistency. You
Mhm.
can, 3D success, you can discipline, decisions, desire. I mean, we can do that,
Right.
And
I'm
so,
all about that.
yeah, man. And I think um, it's also neat when not only are you just saying these things, but these are things that you have lived throughout your life,
Hmm.
which shows your passion. I've seen some of your speeches and heard you talk, and man, just the passion and the desire. It shows that you've made the decisions to be disciplined.
Well, I mean, I have to practice it. There's no
Yeah,
way I could do what I'm doing right now
yeah,
if there wasn't some sort of discipline or desperation or desire. It's no way.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
let's a little different part of the interview here. Just as I listened to you speak about the different things, I picked out some words. And what I'm going to do is just kind of just say those words. And if you don't mind, just kind of tell me what comes to mind when you hear them. It could be a word, it could be a phrase, it could be a concept, an idea, whatever you have. But but when you hear these, just tell me what you think, if you don't mind.
All right.
All right. So the first one is progress.
Progress. I mean, I look at that as just steadily moving toward your goal or your aspiration. Um,
Mhm.
Again, progress can it can. There's different variations of progress.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very small, it's very incremental, and then sometimes you can take a big leap. Um, for example, going back to sports, look at your guy Lamar Jackson. you know, uh, Going into this year, people were not expecting him to perform at the level that he's performing right now, MVP level. I mean, last year, if we're honest, we look at how he performed. Um, he was okay, but there was definitely room for improvement. But he's someone to me that it's very obvious that he dedicated himself in the off season toward getting better, and it's paid off huge
Mhm.
dividends, for the Baltimore Ravens. And so, sometimes you see great progress like that, in the world, and then sometimes, a lot of times, so it's more, like I said, more incremental, which is fine,
Right.
and I think we have to be okay with that. We can't always go for the Hail Mary play all the time. Sometimes it's just, getting, 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah.
And as long as we're getting closer to that first down, making our way down the field, a
Yeah.
lot of times that's how life works.
That's it, man. Love it.
Hmm.
All right. The next word is process.
Process. Okay. Process, of course, is all the steps it takes to make progress. And so a
Mm.
lot of times, the title of my book is Success is a Process, Not an Event. And it's just something I came up with. I don't even know, maybe I might have heard it somewhere else, but it's just something, that subconsciously, maybe I heard it somewhere else, but it just made me, it's just something that resonated with me because
Yeah.
I'm like, man, a lot of times, people see, uh, people that have done great things and they just think that they're just naturally talented or things just happen for them. And they're just not realizing how many things that person had to go through to get to that
Mhm.
point or even to stay at that level.
Yeah.
I look at somebody, I look at somebody like a LeBron James, for example. People be like, oh, he's naturally talented and blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, he is. It's pretty obvious. We see 6'8", 250 pounds. But guess what? If he didn't take care of himself, that 250 or whatever he weighs could easily be 340 pounds
Yeah. Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
400 pounds, or if he just didn't care, you know? And so regardless of who you are, if you're going to get to a certain level or stay at a certain level, there's certain steps that you have to take in order to either progress or maintain. So that's how I look at the process. There's always some steps that people a lot of times do not see or recognize. They don't realize the late nights or the early mornings, for example, that, maybe me as a speaker, I have to do in order to, grow my business. They don't understand that, hey, maybe I have to do a lot of emailing. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times I get people reaching out to me, Facebook Messenger, or even calling me like, oh, I saw your schedule. How did you do that? And, it's really
work,
no big
man.
secret.
Grind.
Work, I'm just sitting there emailing, and, part of the process is getting turned down a lot of times. No responses. I've had a couple of people where I've actually called and they hang up. I'm like, are you crazy? Why are you hanging up on me? I'm somebody that has worked with kids for 15 years. It's kind of crazy that they don't even want to hear me out. And I don't get that often, but maybe I've had that happen maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And, but that's all part of the process. You have to be thick-skinned sometimes.
That's it. Well, if you don't mind sharing with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out and show you some love and get that book and come check you out on your tour.
Okay. Yeah, my website is successisaprocess.net. Okay, again, successisaprocess.net, real easy to remember. You can buy my book from the website. You can also go on Amazon and purchase my book, but I prefer you do it on my website. It's always better. As far as my tour, I do a lot of what they call upward bound programs. And so honestly, it's hard to just say, okay, I'm going to go attend. However, if you're an educator and you would like me to come and speak to your students or even your faculty, again, reach out to me on my website, www.successisaprocess.net. I'm not associated with any bureaus or agencies, so I'm willing to work with you as far as fees and that sort of thing, and giving you the best option as far as what's going to work for your campus financially and objectives wise.
There it is. Again, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles, and I wish you continued success in everything that you have going on.
All right. Thank you for having me. And I wish everybody out there a great 2020. I hope it's crystal clear.
2020 vision.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.